On today's episode of Let's Talk About Topics That Are Controversial, hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Tatiana, and I don't know how you're gonna feel about this video. Today I'm gonna be talking about my thoughts on 13 Reasons Why, specifically season 2 almost. So first of all, if you've not watched the season, do not watch this because there's going to be so many spoilers because, you know, I didn't watch anything about this episode until I finished the show because I was like, I don't want any spoilers. But yeah, second of all, I have no hair. Well, no, I do have hair. I have no makeup on or anything just because I want this to be like my actual opinion of it. I just finished the last episode of season 2, so I just wanted to sit down and talk to you guys about it and just like tell you guys my thoughts about it. So I guess to start off, I know that already season 2 was a very controversial thing because people are like, Kay, I kind of agree at the beginning, but now I have a kind of a different opinion because at the beginning, pretty much, you know, it was all about bringing to light the issues with suicide and all that type of stuff, and people thought that the season 2 is kind of just like, now you're trying to make money and you're kind of ruining the whole, just like the importance of the show. But now my opinion's kind of changed. My friend Stephanie, actually, Stephanie, for watching this, what's up, girl? We were talking about this with my friend Nikki and her when we went out for dinner, and we were actually just talking about how we felt about the show, and she brought up how she didn't like how there was no, options for people, or it showed like there was no options for Hannah, aka, if you've never watched it, the girl who took her own life. Which I did agree with and I never realized before was how in season 1 they just ended off the show with how she was taking her own life, and they didn't really show, they showed the effects obviously on people but more of the anger at her, and never actually the options that she could have taken, or even options that she did take, and I just don't think it was brought to light enough, which I totally agree with because I think that putting out a show like that is already very controversial, and I just think that I'm very surprised that they didn't think of it because season 2 was literally all about just like the whole trial about how things went wrong, what the school did wrong, and what could have been done, and like it was just like options. Like season 2 was literally just about like options and different things you could have gone and done, and like how different people dealt with their certain issues and how they overcame issues, which I think was a huge thing that, knowing when they were finishing season 1, they knew, I guess, I mean, I can't know, but I feel like they already had this idea in their head. I feel like they should have done like a really long season or something like that just because of the type of topic they're doing. Because I get it, like you're trying to make money off seasons, but I think it just like, if you were already making the second season, it's just like having that type of ending is like really good because yes, you can tell people don't watch if you're troubled and stuff like that, but this is still such a topic that it is like, I can't speak from personal experience, but if you do have issues with mental health and stuff like that, it could be very triggering, and if you do end up watching it and you see that a person just took their life and then didn't really like give themselves an option, or like there was no options and nothing to see the light in the end of the tunnel, is super harsh. And I feel like since you already showed it in season 2, why didn't you just show it at the beginning? I know that it's better late than never, which I do agree with. I'm happy that they did make this season because at first, again, it was very controversial and I was like, hey, did you really need to make that second season? But I think it was super important the second season because it did wrap things up, and like it showed how Jessica, she started going to counseling, she started dealing with her problems, and she overcame her rapist. She obviously will always be living with that, and I, again, can't speak from personal experience, but it showed how she went to therapy and she started to feel better, and she was really like putting one foot in front of the other instead of her, again, also just letting it take over her life. Again with Alex, how he tried to take his own life and he didn't, but he was powering through it, finding more strength, and he just wanted to be stronger, and he tried to find the help he needed, and he tried to become stronger, and he overcame it too. And it's just, there was so many things where I think it was like a really great way for them to show how like life sucks, but it gets better, and even if it doesn't get better, you can always put one foot in front of the other, and it's never gonna always be the same, and it's gonna get better pretty much. There's always light at the end of the tunnel, even if the tunnel is a billion million years long. You know what I'm saying? So I really liked that. Something that I didn't like though, which I was really upset about, was I just found the whole season like really hard to watch, except for like the last 3 episodes before the last one. We'll talk about the last one after. I found them super hard to watch, boring, wasn't really interested in them, and I get it's not supposed to be a show about like glorifying stuff, and also it doesn't have to be a show about certain things. Like we shouldn't be looking forward to things happening in the show, but it is a TV show, and I just found myself scrolling through my phone half the time because it just wasn't the best. And it's happened to me in a few shows where you just kind of like the second season or other seasons, you just are trying to make it through. And I know that so many people had like everyone had like reaction videos and stuff like that to the last episode, and it was just like, I want to know what happened in the last episode, so I like tried to watch as many episodes as I could all the time just so I get to the last episode. Wow, how many times can I say episode? But yeah, so honestly, the last episode, let's talk about that. There was a lot of things happening. Throughout the last episode, honestly, I was gasping. I was like, like the whole time, like genuinely like that. But I hated how they ended it. They had so many loose ends that they're definitely almost positively probably gonna make a season 3. Like, Chloe is pregnant. What's his name? You know, the guy that shaved his head, tried to shoot up the school, and then Tony helped him escape. And it's just like, there's so many things that they still talk about, and I was just honestly, I was just like, whoa, like they were always, the thing that bothered me was the whole time in the show they were leading up to I forget his name, why can't I remember it, but you know what I'm talking about, was like talking about guns, how he liked the guns and everything, and shooting the guns, so you kind of just like saw where they were pointing towards a school shooting with all this like anger and stuff like that. But it was honestly very, they just kind of ended the season like that. I just was like, really? It was just so suspenseful. It was like they went to the climax of the episode, and then it was just like, what? I was just like so shooketh, like, cause the whole episode you're just like on edge and you're like, this can happen, oh my gosh, this is happening, and you're like freaking out. And then nothing happens, which, I mean, at the same time, like, that's how they decided to deal with it. And they showed also that Clay talked to him and was like, there's light at the end of the tunnel, this is not going to solve anything, which is 100% true. Like, how is that going to solve anything, any of your problems? You're just going to create more, and you're hurting other people. Just because you're hurting, don't hurt other people, and don't do that, because it's just, it's bad, it's wrong, it's going to ruin your life, everyone's lives. And I'm happy that they did it, but at the same time it was just like they were leading towards this thing, and then they just kind of, I think, let down a lot of people in the show, in the sense that I don't like the word let down, but they pretty much just teased you, and I get it, like, that shouldn't be a thing where you're like, darn it, that didn't happen in the show, but I just didn't know how I felt about the very ending, because it's kind of like they just announced to everyone, hey, we're doing a season 3, so you can find out what's gonna happen with Chloe's baby, because she was raped by her own boyfriend, and how, like, Tyler, yes, Tyler, that's his name, and how Tyler was gonna do when he escaped with Tony, and just so many different things. It was intense. Honestly, the last episode is good until the very end, because you guys obviously probably watched it, where you just got a big spoiler, because also when the kids are like bullying Tyler and they're like hitting him, and then they like do that thing with the broom and everything, it was just, I was like gasping, I was shooketh. But yeah, those are my thoughts on it. I guess that's all I wanted to say. I was just this whole season was very confusing. I'm not sure how to feel about it, because I'm happy that they did it, because it was necessary to not just leave a show like that out there and just not have an option, because there's always options and ways that it gets better and how people are going to overcome it. And I know life isn't like perfect or anything, but I'm just happy that they really touched upon those subjects that need to be touched upon. And I know that so many people have different opinions on this show. Like, so many people are like, that this show is just like not necessary, it triggers people, and I know that other people are for it because it does bring light to topics that are not talked about, and just how crappy like the, say, like a school system could be, and just how it, like, everything, like bullying and all that stuff, is just how crazy and how raw and real it is, because this stuff is actually happening in real life, so it has to be talked about. And I get both sides. You can argue both of them to me, and I usually agree with both of them because it is a very hard topic. And I don't know if you can ever do it perfectly or right, because everyone has a different story, a different experience, and a different way about how they feel about it. But yeah, I feel that any show, like this show definitely touched on every single topic that is controversial almost, but every show is going to have a show that, something that could be triggering to somebody, something that could be very controversial and they've touched upon, but I think that it's better to talk about something than just to sweep it under the rug, because this stuff is happening in real life and it's stuff that people have to wake up to. And I think that's also just showing that your actions that you might not think are big because you're just like, get over it, really do affect people, and you don't know what's going on in people's lives behind the doors, as especially we saw in the second season, how there was so many things happening that we never knew about, even about Hannah. Say, for example, how her dad was having an affair on her mom, and just even how she ended up, sorry, my camera stopped recording, but I was saying just how she was dating Zach, and there was just so many things, and you never know anything, and you never know anyone's story fully. So I just think that the show needed to be made, and there's certain things that could always be changed, and it's never going to be perfect, but I don't know, it was interesting. But those are all the thoughts that I have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know that it's very like controversial and everyone has their own opinions, which I like totally agree with, because everyone has different experiences and different like thoughts on it, but I just wanted to give my 2 cents on the show just because I was very like confused about the second season. But yeah, that is all. I know this is very more like of a dark video, but I swear other videos are more exciting. But yeah, so I guess if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. I definitely kind of want to do more show reviews because I watch a lot of shows and movies, so I think it'd be good because I like watching them. Subscribe down below if you want to see more videos, and I guess I'll see you guys next time. Bye!